What's up, everybody? Ryan here with J Travel Invest. About 8 p.m. my time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. It is August 16th, and we're about to go ahead and get started for tonight. As always, the first thing we want to do before we start trading is go over to forexfactory.com, which is a website that shows you any global news that's going on in our currency market that may be affecting our currency markets. And it shows you what time each news release is happening. So you can see we had Australian dollar news about a half hour ago from now, and it was medium impact news, which is an orange folder. Other than that, not really too much major news going on today. So let's take a look at our markets and see how they're looking. So right off the bat, we want to go to our currency pairs, figure out which ones are paying us the most. The lowest I'm gonna risk per trade is going to be 70% on investment. So in the evenings when we trade during this time, the payouts are a little bit lower than when we traded during the New York session in the early mornings. In the early mornings, we're going to get paid out like 80 to 90%. In the evenings, it's only going to be right around 70%. And we're not even going to have as many pairs to trade as well. But I do these evening sessions more just to accommodate to the people that can't make the morning sessions. If it was up to me, I really wouldn't do a whole lot of trading during the evenings. My bread and butter is usually just that morning session, but doing the evening session, we can usually get some extra profits as well. But like I said, the payouts are going to be a little bit lower in the evenings. So your risk to reward is going to be a little bit higher. So let's take a look at Euro US dollar. We got 70% payout on Euro US dollar, and we also want to keep in mind that we're not going to want to trade any of the pairs that say OTC after them. We're only going to focus on the regular currency pairs. So let's take a look at our markets and see how they're looking. So Euro US dollar right off the bat, looks like we're on a good downtrend. Looks like we've had some good respect off of this middle Bollinger Band back here. I'm just going to mute the background chats really quick. If anybody has any questions, just feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or just type it in the chat and I'll answer those questions there. But right off the bat, I'm seeing Euro US dollar. Looks like it's on a pretty good downtrend for the most part. We're currently on a small pull up towards the middle Bollinger Band, and I think it will pull up a little bit higher like it did back here to push up to that middle band before we start to see resistance off of that general area and push to the downside. So in my eyes, this looks like a potential call on the way up to this middle band, and then after it hits this middle band, we're probably going to look for puts on the way down. So let's take a look at our 1 minute chart and see how that's looking. Our 1 minute chart also looks like calls. We're above the middle Bollinger Band, and for the most part, we're pushing upwards. We are seeing a little bit of consolidation on this one. The one thing that's a red flag to me is that we're seeing it just kind of push sideways. So let's take a look at our 5-second chart. 5-second chart actually looks like it's about to break to the upside pretty soon here. But I'm not liking this look that we got going on back here. We're seeing a lot of these breakouts that are pushing below our middle Bollinger Band and then right back to the upside. For the most part, it looks like it's consolidating, but this doesn't look like a very good market to be getting into here. Potential call entry right there, but like I said, this doesn't look like the best market, so I don't think I'm going to trade this one. Kind of want to watch it just for a second here just to see if it does resist off of this and push to the upside. Because if I was going to take a trade, it would have been a 30-second call right here. So sometimes if I, even if I don't place the trade, sometimes I like to watch it just for my own educational purposes to see if it would have played out in my favor or not. And in this case, it looks like it would have just consolidated sideways, and we probably would have either broke even or lost the trade on this drop here. So good thing we didn't take that trade. And see, actually, it probably would have broke even because if we took it right here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Actually, I think it would have won by like just a tiny little bit on this jump right here if we had entered on this drop, the first initial drop. But for the most part, it's just pushing sideways. It's consolidating. We don't really want to get involved in a market like that. Looks like it's potentially going to see the resistance off of the middle band soon and start dropping on the 5-minute chart, which would be good. Then we would start to get some actual movement to the downside like we had back here. And then that would give us more momentum, which is what we look for, momentum to the downside so that we can take those puts. But right now, it's just consolidating. We're at the middle band on the 1-minute chart as well. So this one's not ready for anything at the moment. I think it's going to be puts coming up soon. I think we'll have some put opportunities coming up soon, but I'd like to see this drop a little bit further before we get into this. So let's take a look at a different pair. All right, so our pairs are switching up on us percentage payouts wise. Euro Singapore dollar. Let's take a look there. All right, looking at my 5-minute chart, looks like we're definitely about to go upwards right now. Our 1-minute chart made a small pull downwards, but that 5-minute chart looks promising to the upside. And our 5-second chart is below the middle band as well, so we can't take any calls yet on this one. I wish that this would once our 1 minute and 5-second line up and push to the upside, then we can look for calls. But looking at my 5-minute chart, this looks like it. It just formed a brand new candle. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the candle, and we had a lot of good momentum to the upside here, and we had a good doji candle right here. So I definitely think this looks like it's going to go to the upside. Actually, you know what? We'll go. Let's go a little bit higher time frame trade. I'll do a 3-minute call on this one. I'm gonna place a 3-minute call. Give this a little bit of time to play out. So I'm gonna do a 3-minute call there, hoping that we're gonna continue to see this 5-minute chart move to the upside here. And looking at my 1-minute chart, it looks like we're starting to get that resistance right now. So this one I'm gonna do a little bit longer trade just because we are starting to see a little bit of consolidation in the market. So we'll let this trade play out, and then we'll come back to this market. But let that trade play out. While that trade's playing out, let's take a look at some other pairs and see how they're looking. We got GBP, JPY. Let's take a look at our 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart, it looks like we're dropping to the downside on this one. Looking like some good possible put opportunities on this. Our 1-minute chart on GBP, JPY also looks like it's about to resist this small pull up we had, and it looks like we're continuing the drop soon. We're about to form a brand new candle though, so let's see what the next candle looks like. It's got 4 seconds left, so this is what I'm looking at, the candle timer right there. And it looks like it's starting to form a doji candle, and then I think this is probably going to drop from here. So there we go, it's starting to make that drop right now. 5-second chart starting to drop as well. So let's go back to our 30-second expiration now. Make sure you guys switch your time frame back to 30-second expiration. And I'm going to be looking for a 30-second put on GBP JPY. I'm going to wait for a small pull upwards. I'm going to go one put right now. So I did one 30-second put on GBP JPY right here at the top of that candle. And it kind of lingered up there for a little bit, so you guys had a good amount of time to get in. And we're starting to see that resistance off of our entry point now. There's our drop into profits. Beautiful. All right, and we're about to clear this first win for the night. So there's our first trade that we closed out for the evening so far. For one win so far, and then we got Euro Singapore dollar still open with a minute left. Let's go back to that and take a look, see how that one's looking. So we're starting to make that pull back up. There we go. We just pushed in a profit right now, as I said that. So let's continue to see this push up, and then let's close out Euro Singapore dollar in profit, and then we'll move on to our next trade setup. But I got 40 seconds left in this trade, but we just saw a pretty large drop. So let's take a look, see what we got going on in higher time frames. 5-minute chart gave us a doji candle, so it's actually seeing resistance at this level, and it looks like we're starting to enter maybe a possible consolidation cycle where it's going to push sideways. Our 1-minute chart made a nice dive down, but just hit the middle band and seeing resistance off of that right now, so it looks like we're bouncing back up. And our 5-second chart is almost in profit. We got a couple seconds left in this trade, so let's see if we get the spike we're looking for. So we just lost that one by a little bit. It was close, but not quite. We didn't get the move I was looking for on that one. I was hoping that we were going to get one more candle to the upside, pushing to this upper Bollinger Band on the 5-minute chart. In this case, we got a doji candle that formed, starting to see a little bit of resistance, pushing back to the downside. So we got one win and we got one loss right now. And on Euro Singapore dollar, actually right now, I'm going to do one put. So I did one 30-second put on Euro Singapore dollar. I got one 30-second put, and it's basically right below my middle Bollinger Band, right on the middle band, basically. I'm going to do a second one right now. So I got 2 puts in total. I got one sitting on break even and one's in profit right now. So let's get one more drop. There we go. There's our push into profit on the first entry. Oh, it spiked us out on the first one. So we almost closed it, but we spiked us out last second. I'm gonna do another 30-second put right now. So I have two 30-second puts in open total right now. I lost one entry, sorry, two entries on the last previous two. So let's see if we can clear these two here. Oh, just barely lost that one again. So let's see, we're starting to get that resistance off our upper entry on this last one here. Let's close out this one and then we'll move on to our next setup. All right, so that one just won by a little bit there. And we got currently right now are at 2 wins and 3 losses. So I'll be doing probably like 2 trades on the next one in order to bump myself in profits. But let's move on to a different pair. It looks like Euro Singapore dollar. Like I said, it's probably going to start consolidating, pushing sideways, and we don't really want to get involved with that. So going back to Euro US dollar, it looks like we are starting to get that resistance off of that middle band that we were looking for, and it's starting to possibly make that drop coming up that I was looking for. Our 1 minute chart also made the break through the middle Bollinger Band, pushing to the downside. So that's also looking good for possible puts. And then we look at our 5-second chart as well, and we're also seeing good breakouts to the downside on the 5-second chart. So let's have Euro US dollar pulled up and ready. We're going to be looking for a couple 30-second puts off of this middle Bollinger Band. So like I said, I'll be doing probably 2 entries on this next one at the middle Bollinger Band. That way I'll bump myself into some profits. So I'm going to wait for a price to pull up just a little bit, and then we'll get our entry for a 30-second put to the downside. If it gives us the entry, we'll take it. If it doesn't and it keeps dropping, we'll just skip it and look for another setup. But let's just be patient, wait for the right entry. All right, starting to pull up, so let's be ready with our 30-second expiration. I'm going to enter 1 put right now. I just did 1 right there, and then if it pulls up to my middle Bollinger Band, I'm going to go ahead and enter 1 more there. But sometimes it does these little tiny pull-ups like it did back here, and then it just keeps on dropping. So I got 1 entry in right there. And then, like I said, if it does pull up to my middle band, I'll enter 1 or 2 more up there. So get ready. There's our drop into profits on the first entry. So we were able to clear that first entry. I only got 1 entry in. I didn't get the other entry in. But so we're going to still wait for another pull up to the middle band, and we'll go for another put. But there was 1 win right there. Actually, I'm going to take a look back at my 1 minute chart really quick before I take another put on this. 1 minute still drop. Yeah, 5 minute looks good to still drop. Looks like the candles are getting very small now, though. That's the only thing that concerns me on this one. Is that we had some good drops to the downside, and now it's the Bollinger Bands are starting to get real skinny, and the candles are getting very small. So usually when that happens, you're going to get a large breakout in one direction coming up very soon, which could be like a volatile spike in one direction just randomly. So it could very well spike up out of this downtrend that it's currently on, because it's currently entering that consolidation. So I'm probably not going to take anything off of this, at least until we see a different breakout. So let's see. Candles are getting real small. Bollinger Bands are getting skinny. Looks like we're going to get the breakout to the upside on this one. Looks like it's trying to make that breakout to the upside right now. Looks like our 1 minute chart is probably resisting off of that bottom band as well. Going to see some moves to the upside coming up. Our 5 minute chart made a drop, and it's probably due for a little pullback up now. I'm just going to do 1 30-second call right now. I'm going to go 2 more right now. So I entered 1 right before that spike, and then I entered 2 more down here because I know that this was a terrible entry compared to these ones down here. So I wanted to enter 2 more down here. That way, if we get this correction move back up, it'll still put us in profit on this trade, even if the 1 entry up here loses. And as long as we win the bottom 2, then it'll be a profitable trade. So we got break even on the bottom one so far, and looks like the top one's going to lose. So yeah, we broke even on the bottom 2 and the top 1 lost. I'm going to go 2 more calls right now because it's starting to consolidate. I think we're going to get this correction spike up any second now. And I entered two entries there because I lost one entry right here, just to be clear, following the money management. If I lose one trade, I'm going to do 2 trades on the next one. That way, if I win these 2 trades, it'll wipe away that one loss plus an additional little bit of profit. So there's our correction move into profits right there. And we got a $68 payout coming right here. There we go. Bag is secured. Let's go. So that puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins and 1, 2, 3, 4 losses at the moment. So just basically break even. Basically at break even at the moment, a little back and forth. We did have some news on Australian dollar. So if we do get a bunch of back and forth left and right, for like if it takes us, if we get into the session and we're like 30, 45 minutes into it and we're just at break even, then we'll just call it at that point. Because sometimes if the markets are just consolidating, going back and forth, it's best to just wait for better flowing markets. And I'm not seeing any really great setups on these markets tonight. Looks like they're moving very slow. So let's move on to a different pair, see what other setups we have. We are getting these decent breakouts that are happening though every once in a while. Looks like GBP odd overall is on a good uptrend. We're currently on a small pull down at the moment, but let's take a look at our 1-minute chart and see what that's looking like. Yeah, we're getting these like explosive moves out of nowhere and then just entering these consolidation cycles. So it's like getting super volatile and then it just straight goes sideways for a little bit. And sometimes the markets are just moving like that. You just gotta know when to take your setups and when to wait for better markets to flow. So GBP odd looks like we're probably gonna get a breakout to the upside very soon. Our 5-second chart is just straight up consolidating though, and we're still below the middle band. So I think that it's gonna get a breakout to the upside any second now, but I don't want to enter a call just yet because we are below the middle Bollinger Band in that sell territory still. So I'm not gonna enter anything on this just yet. Same thing on the 1-minute chart, we're below the band. So we could still have room to drop on this one. And our 5-minute is still showing signs of drop. So I do think that it's gonna reverse upwards very soon though, based on what I'm seeing on the previous trend that we have on the 5-minute chart. If you go to even the 15-minute chart, 15-minute chart is pushing to the upside as well and just formed a brand new candle. But we have been on a rally to the upside for quite a while, so we might be getting exhausted at that upper band. Let me read the comments here. Is there ever a time you trade less than 70% possibly for a better market pattern? Like say 55, 70? No, definitely not. So I wouldn't, that's my rule of thumb is 70% is as low as I will go. 100%. Just because like in my eyes, the risk to reward is just not worth it to go any lower than 70%. So like looking at, I mean, if you were to risk $100 on like on these other pairs, these lower ones, like 40% and stuff like that, like that's definitely not worth it because if you're risking $100 to only make $40, you know, it's gonna, if you lose one trade, the money management is not going to work the same. Basically, the whole money management that I teach you guys is not going to work the same on the lower percentages. It has to, the only reason why the money management works is because we're getting 70 to 90% return on our investment. So that way, if you do one trade more than you lost, you're basically getting almost 100% of that loss back. So if you lose one trade and you're getting 90% return on the next trade, if you do two trades on the next one, that means one trade is going to cover 90% of the loss, and then you're going to get an additional 80% of profit. So that's basically how the money management works, is that, but it has to be on the higher percentages basically for it to really work its way out. Because if you lose a bunch of trades on a low percentage and you're trying to recover trades, then you're going to have to do a lot more trades to get your losses back, because you're only getting 56%, for example, on odd CAD. So you'd have to do, if you lost one trade, now you're down 100%. You got to do like 2 trades, and you're only going to be up 6% compared to if you do 2 trades in the morning, you're going to be up 80% compared to 6%. You see what I'm saying? It's a big difference. So hopefully that made sense. But that was a good question. But yeah, that's why my rule is 70% is as low as I'll go. And me personally, 70% is like the bare minimum. Like I don't even personally like to trade at 70%. I kind of do these sessions, like I said, to accommodate for you guys, so that I can call out extra trades for you guys. But me personally, before I would just do like 80 to 90% range. That's personally like my favorite time to trade, is when it's in 80 to 90% range. And the early mornings is usually for the New York session is when we get a lot more movement usually in the markets, and that's why I trade so early in the mornings as well. The evenings seem to usually move a little bit slower. But let's take a look, see what we got going here. So we're at break even right now. We're up one trade more than loss. Let's take a look and see if we can get just a couple wins. Well, maybe we'll aim to get like 5 wins more than losses and just get ourselves out of the market here. So EuroCAD 5-minute chart is pushing to the upside. 1-minute chart is pushing to the upside as well, but we're still below the middle Bollinger Band. One thing that you got to keep in mind. It does look like it's got more room to go up though. Yeah, our 5-second chart right now. I'm actually gonna go one call right now. I just did one 30-second call on EuroCAD. I'm only doing one entry at a time because, like I said, we're at break even right now. We're in just light profits. So we want to just slow and steady stack up the profits as we go and then leverage the profit that we make to make more profits. That way you're not risking the money that's in your own account. The way that we do that is that if you, let's say if you win the first trade of the session, and like for this example, we're doing $20 trades, so we're profiting $14.40. So that means I have an additional $14.40 of pocket room on the next trade. That way, if I lost $20 on the next trade, it would only be a $6 loss. So that way, you just want to slow and steady keep stacking those up. And if you just do one at a time, you're minimizing your risk as much as possible. I'm going to go one more call right now. I did another 30-second call on EuroCAD. So we just won that last trade setup. And then I got one more call in once again at the middle Bollinger Band. We're seeing some pretty good resistance off of that level. So let's see another push to the upside. So there's our push into profit right now. So we're seeing that resistance off of the middle Bollinger Band. After this trade, we're not going to take anything else off of this pair at least. All right, we just cleared that one just by a little bit, but I'm noticing that it's really starting to slow down here. So that's what I was expecting, is that it's probably going to get a breakout in the opposite direction soon, and we're probably not going to be respecting the middle band as much. And the red flag for me on that was these candles that kept jumping up and down, kind of hitting that middle band and going sideways on that middle band. Whenever you start to see that consolidation cycle start to happen, usually that's going to be your first red flag that it's going to be like, all right, there might be a trend reversal about to happen. And in this case, we had the consolidation and then a trend reversal to the downside. So let me know if anybody has any questions as well. So we're probably not going to do a whole lot of trades. So I'm not really liking how the markets are moving, but we are in some light profit right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins and 1, 2, 3, 4 losses at the moment. So we're 7 and 4, just very light profit. But like I said, the markets don't seem to be moving that great tonight. So we got some other pairs that are paying us more now. We got some 72% range, and we got a lot more pairs to pick from. So let's take a look at these other pairs that we have to offer now and see if we can take advantage of some of these other ones. This is a New Zealand CHF. Right off the bat on my 5-minute chart, I don't like the look of this right here. This is a big red flag for me. The fact that we have this giant dip in price, these really large candles, and then this giant doji candle right here pushing back up and then back down and then back up again. It's looking like this one's looking a little volatile. We're seeing wicks on both ends of the candles. And whenever you get wicks on both ends of the candles, that means that your trade could possibly be like winning and then it's spiking out and then spiking back into profit and then spikes out again. So like we don't want to enter trades that are spiking up and down for that reason, because obviously you don't want your trade to be flipping in and out of profit. You just want to go straight into profit. So right off the bat on the 5-minute chart, New Zealand CHF just doesn't look good to me. So let's take a look at some other pairs. These payouts are changing like every couple seconds. So we're back down to 70%. All right, so our 5-minute chart on GBP JPY looks like we're actually about to start making a break through the middle Bollinger Band. This one had a really large downtrend going on. It looks like we're finally getting the breakout back to the upside. Take a look at my 1 minute. 1 minute is looking a little bit volatile as well. We're seeing some very large candles and breakouts left and right through the, like really not respecting the Bollinger Bands at all, the middle band at least. It's kind of ranging between the outside bands on this one. So on this one, I think that we're probably gonna get a drop coming up, considering the fact that it's been ranging between the outside bands like this. This one hit the outside band right here, and then we had a similar move that just happened right here. So you have it move down, pull back up just a little bit, and then continue the drop. This one right here, drop just a little bit, pull back up just a little bit, and then if we follow that same pattern, it's probably gonna do this right here, where it continues, and we see another fall towards that bottom band next. Is what I'm seeing on the 1 minute chart. 5 minute chart is also at the middle Bollinger Band, just formed a brand new candle, so we're probably going to resist off of this band and push to the downside. And yeah, right now on the 5 second chart, I'm going to do one put right now on GBP, JPY. I did one 30-second put. So I got one 30-second put. I got my entry like basically right at the middle Bollinger Band on this one. We had some good resistance back here off of the middle band and this breakout back here. So I'm hoping we're going to continue to see this drop to the downside. And the move to the upside is looking very slow, so I'm probably going to enter two more puts if this one looks like it might lose. I'm going to go two more puts right now. I did two more 30-second puts. So I lost that first entry right there. So I just did enter two more puts. I'm still going with the original analysis that we're probably going to get this trade to the downside very soon here. So we're just consolidating sideways on our entry right now, sitting on break even. Yeah, it looks like we broke even on both of these. Yeah, we broke even on both of those, just went sideways, didn't make a single move. Break even, you get all your money back, you don't win or lose the trade. But that's the small move I was basically looking for. Well, honestly, I think this is going to break further to the downside pretty soon, but let's take a look at our 5 minute. 5 minutes still at the middle band, kind of resisting at that level. 1 minute, still making a small move to the upside though. So probably not going to take anything off of this yet. Yeah, we're still making a small pull upwards. I think it'll drop soon, but probably just going to move on to a different pair. So we tied the last two and we lost the one before that. So on the next trade that I do, I'll still be doing two entries. Whatever trade setup I find, I'll be doing two entries. Euro CAD looks good on my 5 minute chart. We're seeing a good breakout to the upside. Our 5 minute chart gave us a doji candle. And it looks like we're starting to resist off of this middle band, pushing to the upside as well. So possible call coming up on Euro CAD. Looking at my 1 minute chart, it looks like it finally just made the breakthrough of the middle Bollinger Band right now, pushing to the upside. And our 5 second chart is looking like we're trying to make that breakout right now, but we had a big consolidation cycle where it just went straight sideways for a while. But it looks like it's getting ready to make that breakout to the upside. So let's be ready on EuroCAD. If we do get one drop to the downside, I'm going to take one call to the upside. So just to be clear, I'm waiting for a drop down to the middle band, and then I'm going to take a call to the upside, 30 seconds to the upside. So we're on EuroCAD. Make sure you guys are on EuroCAD and have your 30-second expiration. I'm going to go two calls right now. So I did two 30-second calls on EuroCAD. Entries right below the middle Bollinger Band on this one. And let's see this resistance and break to the upside now. So there's our push up into profits right now. I'm gonna go a couple more calls right now, and I did a couple more than I lost on this one. So I just did a couple more 30-second calls once again on EuroCAD. We had a really large spike down, and whenever you get a really large spike down, a lot of the time it'll correct itself and shoot back in the opposite direction. So that's what I'm hoping we're going to get that move on this trade right here. So I ended up getting 5 entries in on this one. Let's see if we get this spike into profit for us. So there's our move into profits. Let's see it keep on pushing up. And we'll have $172 bag closing out. There we go. Let's get it. 172 in the bag. 5 wins right there. Just wiped away my 3 losses. So you guys see how I'm doing the money management. Even if you guys like, so I want to make this clear for you guys on some stuff like this when it's kind of quick like that. When I call out these trades really quick like that. Sometimes if you guys missed the trade setup or if you guys didn't get the same exact result as me, don't stress out about it, because the fact of the matter is that you guys just saw me do it. And you guys could do the same thing eventually if you guys learn the strategy itself. The strategy itself is going to be a lot more important than you guys trying to get that same exact result during the session. I'd rather you guys understand how I did it and why I did it, knowing that there was this large spike to the downside and it's probably going to get a small correction back upwards. And since I lost the last 3 trades before that, I already knew that in my head that I lost 3 trades before that. So that way I did 5 trades on this next one, knowing that we're getting only 70% payout per trade. So I need to do at least 1 or 2 more trades on this next setup in order to bump myself in a profit. Does anybody have any questions about that in general? Because I want to make sure that you guys fully understand the money management aspect to it and why I did it that way. So that puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 wins, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're at 12 wins and 7 losses right now. Nice job, Scott. Made his profit and is out. Love to hear that. So yeah, does anybody else have any questions whatsoever? I'm gonna go 1 30-second call right now, just one. I just did 1 30-second call right there. This is the same exact trade setup basically as I saw in the last one, where we get a really large spike down and hopefully we get a small correction move back upwards, and then we can close this 30-second option out. So this will be our last trade. Boom, spike right into profit. There's our correction move. Let's go. And we got another $34 bag to make it 13 wins and 7 losses. So I was aiming only to get 5 wins more than losses, so we went a little bit above that. Like I said, the markets are moving a little bit funky tonight, and I'd rather get those profits and be out. So sometimes when the markets are moving a little bit back and forth, it's best to just count your blessings and take that light profit. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Unless anybody has any questions, feel free to speak up now and ask questions, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. And if anybody is struggling about anything and doesn't want to ask questions during the session, one-on-ones are free for all members, so make sure you guys are taking advantage of those meetings. See, markets like this, though, when it does spike around like really nice like that, I would have took a 30-second put at the top of that. Like whenever you get a large spike up, you just do a trade in the opposite direction, and a lot of the time it'll correct itself. So it's not always going to happen that way. With the wick jumping strategy, where you're jumping, basically you're taking a trade in the opposite direction of a large spike, but a lot of the time it does happen like that, as long as you can get in on that very quick swift movement. See how it's correcting itself right now? So if you go up to the top of this candle right here, you took your 30-second put right there, you'd be sitting in profit right now, and there's the correction move, and you'd be closing out the bag. That'd be another win right there. So the markets are looking decent for that one reason, just for the spiking strategy. But in my opinion, I'm going to count my blessings, and we'll jump out of the markets with some light profit tonight. But yeah, it doesn't look like anybody else has any questions. But that was honestly another perfect last trade right there. If anybody took that trade, let me know. That put right there, and that I just called out last second there. But other than that, we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. Solid session, guys. We got right to it. We'll be back in the morning for some more trades. Let's see what we got. Tomorrow morning we do have a bunch of news, so make sure you guys are on time for the session, because it'll start right at 6 o'clock. Right at 8 o'clock Eastern time on the dot, and then we'll trade for the first 20 minutes of the session and be out. This is actually looking pretty good right now on EuroCAD, though. But yeah, we're gonna be done on that note. But look at that trend. Look at that perfect trend off of that middle Bollinger Band, looking beautiful. So you guys just gotta apply this strategy, keep on studying, stay consistent, and let me know if you guys have any questions. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the morning. Everybody have a blessed night.